Hello, my darlings. Good evening, and welcome to our Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle ATL By Night. Our next vignette, Homecoming. Let's meet our characters for tonight.
I'm Dustin Fletcher, and I am playing Cyrus ibn Muhavara Beniafta.
I'm Lauren Urban, and I'm playing Dr. Amanda Gilbert.
These vignettes are designed to be smaller stories that give a view of life around Atlanta and flesh out some of the stories of our characters. So now, let's sit back and relax, and let's tell a vampire story. Cyrus, you've awoken tonight in your haven with a thought in your mind. Dot asked you to investigate the serum that the Second Inquisition has been using, and digging into this lead, you found something. It's not much, but it's at least a start. The synthetic blood appears to be coming from a lab at Emory University. Please make me a rouse check for waking up.
I am hungrier.
All right, starting the night at Hunger 2, as usual.
Before I head out, I am going to text my arms dealer to make sure he got the package, as I sent him one of the weapons that I had acquired from the Second Inquisition.
Okay.
For him to look it over and see if he could make heads or tails of it, and kind of get me lay of the land and replicate it, etc., etc.
Okay. You do have a message back that it was received, and he has a question for you. Is it okay to dismantle it?
And I will send a simple yes.
Okay. And you do get a reply affirmative.
And I will check the coordinates of where specifically at Emory this lab is. And I will head out to my car. And I'm going to make my way there.
All right. So you head out to your car. You drive over to Emory, which is a large complex, but the instructions from Dot did specify a building and a floor.
I will make my way there. I'll park on the campus, but not near the building.
Okay.
And I will make my way in. I will make sure I'm just going to take my silent sig on my drop holster, and then my tactical knife and my stake, and that's it.
Okay. Packing light?
Packing light, yeah.
All right.
We can just get in and get out. I'm going to go silently invisible as I unseen passage vanish.
Okay.
So that will be a rouse check. And I get hungrier.
Cyrus. So at Hunger 3 now. The night's barely begun.
So silence of death, unseen passage. I'm going to make my way into the building. I am not worried about cameras because of ghosting machines.
Yes.
So
Yes, you cannot be detected on cameras.
Make sure I check the doors to see if I can get in.
The doors are automatic, and though you are obfuscated, it does, since it registers a break in the laser to open, you are able to get in.
Okay, then I will, once it opens, I will make my way in, kind of staying away from anybody late there working, and kind of head looking for that room number of where this lab is in this room, if I got that information from Dot.
You did.
Okay.
But Dr. Gilbert, it's been a slow night. Your samples of this new round of blood are taking a little longer to process than usual. Perhaps it's finally time to get a new computer, if Emory will grant you the research money to do so. But once the samples finish processing, you can work on refining the synthetic blood into something easier to produce, while still being just as effective. The invention of the synthetic blood had been hard enough, but refining it comes with its own new set of challenges. This is going to be an all-nighter, and so probably it's time for another cup of coffee.
I look down at my desk that already has 3 cups. Do I have a coffee mug in here, or do I have just a little stand where I can make my own, or do I have to go to the cafeteria?
You would go to, it's a smaller cafe that's on the floor for the scientists, but there's a little coffee machine in there with little paper cups.
I might as well take a moment to stretch, I guess. I will head that way.
Okay. And so, Cyrus, you do hear the sounds of someone coming down the hallway, uh, and you're able to dodge those sounds and find the door of
Okay.
the room.
I will enter and kind of duck in before they get there. As I make sure the door's closed, as I kind of just listen with heightened senses to make sure that they have passed.
Yes, the person has walked away and they do fade a bit from sound.
And I will kick off heightened senses and I will start looking around to see what I can find. If we can find anything on if this is where the blood is being made or how it's being made, who's making it, so that way we can get a jump on this on the SI and hopefully put a stop to this.
All right, so make me wits and awareness.
Okay. Four successes.
All right. It is easy to spot there, though you are unfamiliar with a lot of the equipment for such endeavors. You do see a centrifuge machine on the counter, a fridge next to it, a small desktop fridge. That if you check in it, there are various blood samples, various blood types. And then there is a larger fridge underneath the counter that has notice on it that says, "Do not touch property of AG."
Okay. I'll kind of look around, and if I see, like, using the blood, like looking for the scent of blood, as I will kind of just pick on my scent of heightened senses to try and find that unique smell that I smelled coming from that bag
Okay.
that one time. And I'm gonna just keep looking, and I'm gonna find out, open that fridge and see what's in there.
So once you open the fridge, the smell does hit you. There are 3 trays of 10 samples each of synthetic blood. And though you can't smell the same scent from the counter, it seems that these are the refined versions. They have been completed, whereas what is on the counter is in progress.
All right, I'm going to take all of these and kind of go to my other drop holster, which actually has a satchel on it, and I'll open it, and there's little what are normally used for shotgun shells. I have emptied, and I'm gonna slide the vials into those.
Okay.
As I fold that back up and Velcro it back, and then I'm gonna look around for any notes, anything that gives me any inclination of what is going on and how this process, just to see if there's any hard copy notes or like a tape, like a little tape recorder. Sometimes scientists will record as they work, they talk, just looking for anything like that.
Dr. Gilbert, would you have any handwritten notes or tape recorder? Or do you keep that all in your computer?
I'm old enough that I still want to write all of my notes down. And so I'll put them on the computer because that's what my superiors want, and it's time consuming, but it's better for my own process to be able to have some written notes down.
Okay. And so, Cyrus, you do see a notebook and a clipboard on the table. Chicken scratches, most scientists do. And there are notes that detail the process, notes that don't entirely make sense to you. It's a lot of scientific talk, but it is notes about the process.
I'm gonna take that as well, because I'll flip through, see some jargon that I don't understand, and then I'll slide that in my bag as well, as I give one final look around to see if there's anything else that I missed.
At this point, there is nothing you have missed except the door opening, and in walks Dr. Gilbert, a face that is quite familiar to you.
Excuse me, what are you doing in my lab?
I don't think you see me.
Oh.
Actually, opening the fridge would have broken it.
Oh, it would have.
Yeah. So she
Right,
can see you.
And kind of taken off guard, Who are you?
I'm the person who's in charge of this lab. Who are you?
And I am going to draw my sidearm, and I'm going to point it at her.
Listen, young man, this is not the first time that I have a gun pointed at me. Why don't you just put that down and tell me what it is you want?
And Dr. Gilbert, please roll me 5 dice.
Okay. And you're looking for successes versus failures?
Just how many successes?
And that's 6 and above is a success. I got 3 success.
Wonderful. Dr. Gilbert, there's something about the intensity in the eyes, the facial hair, the way he's holding his gun, the way he's standing. You've seen him before, you think, maybe years ago, but something about this young man's very familiar.
She looks uncomfortable and concerned and curious, but she'll continue to stand there. What is it that you're looking for? Maybe I can help.
And I am going to use rapid fleetness to move up on her.
Okay.
As I want to grab her by the underside of the chin, and I want to put the gun up above her chin, and I say, I want to kill you. Why can't I kill you? Who are you?
My name is Dr. Amanda Gilbert.
I know what your name is, but why can I not pull the trigger?
I don't know why you're here, but there's probably a good reason you can't pull the trigger. So instead of doing that, why don't we talk?
And Cyrus, this is the closest you've ever been to her. Something about her eyes, her voice. Maybe it's just being this close to her. Some part of you hurts. And it's a hurt you haven't experienced in any recent memory. And the pain grips your chest, and your vision goes white. Please make me resolve an auspex.
Three successes.
Okay. And so, Dr. Gilbert, for what is about to happen, his hand does not stop gripping your face, but his eyes appear to go very hazy and off to the side. Cyrus, in your mind, you see a tent overhead. You hear gunfire, screaming, you feel pain. You see a woman's arms covered in blood. And as the blood on her arms slide down along her hands, your vision follows the blood and it becomes a bouquet of roses. And when you look up from the roses, the woman is glowing in white, happy and crying. You see a golden snake crawl down your arm and along your hand, wrapping around your ring finger and holding onto it tightly. You hold a human heart in your hand now, but it feels different. And as you gaze at it, You lift it up into the air, and your body begins to rise with it. And then you descend faster and faster and faster than you think is possible. And you crash into the sand, the heart dissolving into the sand with it. And then there's a pain in your neck, sharp and sickening. And the glowing woman appears before you again, but her visage dulls, and in blotchy patches her body begins to fade, and more patches fade, and more patches fade. And you're left holding sand, and the memory of the woman leaving you, and a fogginess in your mind that you didn't recall having before. But as your vision finally returns to you again, there's emptiness, nauseating emptiness, and the echo of the name, Amanda.
As I come to, I drop her and I back up. What are you?
I'm just concerned at this point. Could you put the gun down?
He'll kind of drop it to the side, but he does not let go of it.
Why are you here?
Why do I know you?
Know me? I mean, you look familiar, but... Why are you here? What are you doing here? What are you looking for?
You're making synthetic blood. Why?
Try to help. Try to help people who need blood, who don't have access to what they need, to try to extend the supply. Are you here from a competitor? Are you here? What? Is that why you're here to kill me?
I don't know why I'm here to kill you. I've been trying to kill you for 7 months. I've had you in my scope for 7 months. I've never been able to not take the shot at you. What was that? What was that? Yeah.
In his panting, Dr. Gilbert, you see his teeth are quite different. Elongated canines. And his skin, now that you're this close, is unnaturally pale. And there is no warmth from him.
You seem to have a bunch of questions about me. What exactly are you? Whatever's happening to you, I could try to help. If you've been trying to kill me all this time, and you can't, maybe you know that there's something I can do to help. Would you at least put the gun away?
Slowly, he'll put it back in the holster.
And she'll relax a little bit. Why do you know me? Why are you trying to kill me and yet you know me? Who are you?
I don't know why I know you. I shouldn't know you. I don't know you.
Cyrus, as you strain and look at her face, it's aged and weathered, but it's the woman from your vision, but much older.
What is your name? Maybe we know each other from somewhere, but you look familiar, but I need a name. I need something to go on.
My name is Cyrus ibn Muhavara bin Yaftan.
Something hits you in the pit of your stomach, Cyrus, as you say that. No, that's not it. That's not the answer. But you don't know the answer. But you know that's not it.
That's not... No, that's the name I was given. I don't know my name. No, I have only known to be serious. I don't...
I don't think I can stop myself, and I'll come forward a few steps.
Okay.
He looks like he's obviously in discomfort and pain.
Yeah.
Please come in and sit. You look terrible. Sit down. Let me examine you. Let me see if there's something that I can do. If you're here for the synthetic blood, if you've been sent for that, for me, if you've been trying to kill me, then there's something else going on. At least do me the courtesy of trying to figure out what that is.
Cyrus, will you sit down with her?
I think he'll sit almost on autopilot, not really being able to control his actions at this moment.
Okay.
Being lost to the vision that he saw and the hunger of the beast that quells within him, not really able to think clearly right now. He just kind of like stumbles back and almost falls into whatever chair is underneath him as he...
I'll grab my chair from behind the desk and move it next to him and sit. Do I recognize that name he's given at all?
No. That name means nothing to you.
You would probably know it is Middle Eastern.
Yeah. You would know the origin is Middle Eastern, but it does not hold intentional significance to you.
Why do I know you? Why? Of everyone, why is it that you... Why is there a darkness that surrounds you? A feeling that I can't control. Who are you?
Someone
Dr.
who just wants to help?
Dr. Gilbert, can you please roll me 5 more dice?
3 successes.
A feeling you can't control. That quote from that voice, you've heard that before. And with 3 successes, last time you heard that, God, it must have been years ago, an entire lifetime ago, when you were much younger. You can't quite place where you heard it. But you've heard this man say those words before. But maybe in a different context.
Where did you learn that phrase? That's so familiar to me, but it's been so long. My memory from back then is very hazy.
What phrase? I don't know what you're talking about.
Which exact phrase was it that
It was a feeling he can't control.
A feeling I can't control. I know that. I remember that. But
It's almost like... Go ahead.
That was ages ago.
Almost like feeling his finger.
It burns, Cyrus. Where that gold snake wrapped around your finger burns, but you can't pull the burning off your finger.
My golden snake. Why?
I'm going to reach out and take his hand. I don't exactly know why, but I do.
I'm going to roll willpower.
Okay.
When she touches me.
Yep.
I let her.
Okay.
It's...
What's been done to you? I don't know what's going on. I have no idea what you're asking. None of this sounds right or familiar, but it is obvious that you are in pain. You've been asked to do things that you don't want to do. Who has asked you this? What is going on? What can I do to help?
And probably what first strikes you is there is a coldness to that hand. There is no warmth. There is no flow of blood.
Yes.
Why are you so cold?
Because I'm dead. Dr. Gilbert. And the blood that you are making is from our blood. Have they not told you what it is you are making?
I'm trying to make something that's going to help those who don't have access to the life-saving blood that they need.
Why does it hurt?
Were you experimented on? Did someone take some of this and give this to you, and this is what happened? Despite her reticence and everything feeling wrong, she's going to go into doctor mode and try to control her own emotions and try to examine him.
Every place you touch is ice cold. Cold as death. And Cyrus, do you let her touch beyond your arm?
I'd probably start with the pulse at his wrist of the hand that I'm holding, and then we'll go from there.
There is not one.
He'll hesitate, like he again doesn't... It's almost like he's not even paying attention to her, as he's almost trying to control himself. And doesn't even realize that you're feeling his pulse.
And there is no pulse to be felt, Dr. Gilbert.
This is wrong. This is very wrong. What has been done to you? Look at your eyes. Your skin is just frozen. How can you have no pulse and stand here?
And he's like slowly reaches out and like grabs her by the chin, but not as forcefully as last time. Why have I seen your face before? I have never seen your face, but I know your face. And why?
Cyrus, you've seen her face before. And at 3 Hunger, not just her face, the blood smells familiar. She's been injured before in front of you. A memory cracks through. She was injured once, and she told you she was fine, she could take care of it herself, as she treated her own wound. Younger then, in a tent in the desert.
Yeah. I've smelt your blood before. In a tent. In a desert. Home. No. I know that desert.
Dr. Gilbert, you remember there was a time when you were a part of the military in working in the hospitals overseas. And you met a young man then. A young man that came in with far too many injuries. And you saved his life.
And I remember his name.
It's hazy. You can't quite remember much about him, but you remember he was there.
And he looks like this person before me.
Yes, but that was back in Vietnam. You barely talked to anyone from then. But there was that young man that you met while you were there. Someone that you remember feeling happy with. Not much. Not many memories are there, but the happiness is there. Followed by pain at remembering even just a little bit about him. A headache creeps in, and you remember the officer coming to your door to let you know that your husband had been killed in action. And that headache quickly turns to a migraine and the memory fades.
He's like let go at this point. He's just
Oh, I haven't thought about that in a long time. You will remind me of someone very dear. And maybe you knew him. Maybe you're related to him. I don't know. But there was... When I was in Vietnam as a nurse, there was a young man. I was smitten. Oh, it was so long ago. And I was heartbroken when he died. And something about you reminds me of him. Reminds me of him so much. Ugh. But everything is so hazy.
Vietnam, Cyrus. You were in Vietnam once, or were you? Hard to remember. But Vietnam, it sounds familiar.
no. Never had a contract in Vietnam. I've never but
The vision comes back in your mind, painful this time. Screaming and yelling around you. You realize is in Vietnamese. And there's that woman standing over you again. A much younger version of the woman in front of you.
And almost like not seeing her in front of me, but seeing the vision, he just reaches out and just like touches her face.
It hurts. It hurts a lot, Cyrus. Your brain is burning, trying to push through, trying to make sense of what you've seen. And her eyes are so familiar, her face wrought with worry, the same face that looked down on you at some point as she saved your life.
No. No.
I'm going to reach out a shaky hand and take the side of his face the same way he just did for me.
Touching his face, though it's cold, it's familiar as well, and something starts to break through. The feeling of the stubble against your chin, it's scratchy and it pokes, and you always told him he needed to shave more, and he never listened.
He never listened.
And though his eyes are different, the shape and the look and the furrow of his brow is even more familiar, and a name starts to prick at the edges of your mind.
Ryan?
Cyrus, please make me wits and resolve.
Two successes.
Now, if you could please make me resolve and composure.
Three successes.
Something about that name, you've heard it a million times before. But it's when it comes from her. The pain in your mind sears, but you can hear echoes of that name. Ryan, Ryan, Ryan. All from her, happy, sad, excited, thrilled. Memories that can't break through, but they're there. They're not gone, but there's a lock on them.
No.
But this name sits in your chest with familiarity that burns.
You look so much like him, but you can't. You can't. That was decades ago, and he's... You can't be him, but you are. I haven't even thought about you in forever. How are you even here?
I'm not. I know. Why?
I'm going to take both my hands and take his face. It is. It's you, isn't it, Ryan? I don't know how. I can't even remember most of it, but yes, right?
And Cyrus, long ago, when you became Cyrus, everything was replaced. But replaced doesn't mean lost. And pushing through, that name begins to sit a little more comfortably in you. Ryan.
Amanda. You can't. No, this can't.
What has happened? What has happened to
You created the blood. This is why they wanted you dead. It makes sense. I should have killed you. I can't. You can't know this.
What happened to you? They told me you were dead. I always knew there was a chance you were gonna go and not come back. And then you were gone. I'm pretty sure I punched the general who told me. But here you are. This is... with no pulse, looking like you did. Like you're a ghost. And she pulls her hands back. I've just been up too late. Too much coffee. Too much work. Too much.
I'm a ghost. That was my call sign. I've always been a ghost. And you can't know this. Not yet. Not until And I'm gonna start to vanish in front of her. I'm gonna make a rouse check.
No, wait.
I succeed.
Okay.
I need you to forget. And I'm gonna use cloud memory. And I'm gonna wipe this entire meeting from her mind.
And as your memory begins to fade, your mind connects the pieces. A feeling he can't control. Your wedding vows with Ryan. And then it's gone. You blink for a moment and there's a young man in front of you. You must have just walked in. You just came back from getting your coffee. Maybe this is one of the assistants of a scientist. But there's a young man standing there waiting for you.
I'm sorry, it's been a long day. Have I just been standing here? Can I help you with something?
And there isn't a man there. Maybe you just dreamed it. It is really late. It's probably pushing 4 a.m.
Oh, jeez. I'm sleep standing. I'm sleepwalking.
And the noise goes off on the centrifuge. The samples are finally done.
No rest for the wicked. And I will go back to work.
Okay. And so you go back to work, focused on your task at hand. A little bit of a headache. Maybe it's all the coffee, the lack of sleep. Cyrus, what are you doing?
I stand there and I watch her work. And I just kind of stumble out, making my way out of the building, trying to figure out how I'm gonna deal with this.
Okay.
And I need to eat.
You
And I'm gonna hunt. And I'm gonna find a lost child and I'm gonna feast on their heart.
Okay. And so you go practically running through the city, down to Krog Street Tunnel, where you finally allow yourself to stop. And there is the smell of kindred nearby, further down the tunnel.
And I'm gonna begin to stalk and hunt, looking for...
It's a middle-aged man. Dirty t-shirt, jeans scuffed up. He looks lost and definitely smells like kindred.
And I'm going to follow him into the tunnels,
Okay.
making sure that no one else is around.
There is
As
no
I
one at this time of night.
grab him, putting my gun against his head, and I start pulling the trigger, firing just regular rounds into his head as I begin to tear into his chest cavity, ripping out his heart.
Are you emptying the full clip?
Yes.
Okay. And what will you do once you have his chest cavity open?
I'm going to reach in, and I'm going to pull out his heart. And I'm going to eat it.
Okay.
I am not going to diablerize him.
Okay. You consume his heart. What will you do with his body?
As I look at it, and I pull a magazine as I load it in, empty the chamber, or put it into the chamber. As I then unload 3 incinerator rounds into his torso to ignite his body and turn it to ash as I turn to walk away, making my way back to Emory, as I want to wipe any security footage clean.
Okay.
Before I head home.
And you're able to find the security office. There are no cameras directly in Dr. Gilbert's office.
Good.
And thankfully none of the hallway ones caught you.
And I'm gonna make my way back to my haven, into my armory. And I'm gonna strip down, taking everything off. And I'm gonna sit down. As I wipe away the blood coming out of my eyes. What? And I just tear into several of the guns on the thing and just throw it off. No. No. She has to die, but no. What if I...
And another pain hits you, Cyrus. This time, it's the feeling of failure. The feeling of being abandoned. Lost yourself as the kindred you consumed earlier this evening. The feeling of your own clan, the Banu Hakim, abandoning you for being a failure. And that word rings again. A man's voice echoing in your mind. Failure. And in concert with it, the voice of Amanda saying, Ryan, and they're fighting for place in your mind.
Who am I?
Who are you indeed? Are you Cyrus, the failure? Or Ryan, the dead? Which are you, Cyrus? There is no answer tonight, is there? Nor do you think the answer will come.
No. No, the answer's in the contract. The next contract. That's what pushes me. That's who I am. I'm an assassin from the Banu Hakim. I am of Hakim.
Are you?
No. 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 I have to diablerize all those who reap the touch of Cain. They are the spawn. No. I follow the path of blood. No. If I did, then I would have fulfilled the contract. She would be dead.
Her dying is a thought you can't even bear. And it wasn't until this night that you understood that's what truly stopped your hand from pulling the trigger. You can't let her die. You've never been able to let her die.
No, she can't die. Does she know she's working with the SI? I don't think so. I don't know people. Journal. I have her journal.
You do?
And the blood. He'll kind of like reach in and pull out the vials of synthetic blood, and he'll kind of press his hand to the safe that opens up with the other vials of kindred blood, and he'll set them in there next to it. And he'll pull out this journal and just kind of hold it. And he'll open it, and he's going to start reading through it, seeing if he can find anything.
And so a few things stick out to you. Some are delivery dates, notes from a Dr. Reynolds. Things such as need 12 more samples by Friday, delivered to Dr. Reynolds with a location that you know to be the old facility, and that location has been scratched out and a new address written beside it. And in the liner notes, there is Kevin called. Chase and Finn want to have dinner. Family game night.
And I like stare at that.
family. Something you haven't thought about in a very long time. Family game night. Another thought creeps through. You'd never wanted kids. You both were far too ambitious. But times change and so do people. She moved on and she grew older. And you stayed you. More blood is pouring from your eyes, streaming down your face, with a pain that is unfamiliar to you. Wounds are familiar, but this kind of wound is foreign, and it hurts deep. And if you could have felt your heart beat, it feels like it could have stopped.
Ryan is dead. There is only Cyrus, Ibn Muhavara Benioff. But I will not let her die. Not even.
And I think that is a great place for us to leave this part of the story for now. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.